So the Swarzak and Bruce money goes back. $20 million comes back to the Mets, not 60. People were really missing the boat on that. It was 60 if you count the money that's been thrown in on the contracts for Bruce and Swarzak. $20 million goes back, so they owe $100 million to Cano. And they get a very talented relief pitcher under control. And they get Robbie to play second base, and hopefully he's still Robbie. And I've spent many days already telling you and outlining the fears I have about him playing second base here. So, I mean, we've already been through it. So you know what they are. Bobby in Long Island, what's up?
Hi, Mike. Before I get to the trade, maybe Rodgers' injuries like Romo, it's going to take its toll on him.
Listen, Romo kept breaking the same bone. I mean, that was the problem.
Well, Rodgers,
he's been playing with a bad knee. He's playing with a bad knee.
Isn't the same thing with the collarbone Rodgers the last couple of years?
Yeah, but his problem right now is his leg. I mean, it's really
right.
his mobility. His throwing's okay. I mean, but he's had a lot of injuries, no question.
Now with the Met trade, I think it's not. I think you got to look at it also. They would have played Diaz $15 million instead of $500,000. So they were only paying Cano like $50 million for 5 years. If you really look at it, with the contracts being traded over and the $20 million they got. Now, two of the prospects. I
don't look at it like that. But they got a good relief pitcher. But the question is, can Cano play? That's really the question. They need Cano to be good. They're going to make him a middle infielder and the middle of the order hitter. They need him to be Cano. Is he going to come over there and be Cano, or is he going to go over there and be Carlos Bayaga?
Well, why don't you could put him at third base and put McNeil
No, I don't think that's their plan. Robbie Cano's a second baseman. I think he wants to play second base. I think that's part of it. Now, maybe 3 years from now he plays third base or first base, but not now.
Well, what do you do with McNeil? McNeil is unbelievable.
McNeil's going to play third base, from what I understand.
Oh, okay. Now, if two of the prospects work out, then I don't think it's a good trade. But if you get one of the prospects works out, I still think it's a good trade if the guys. Everyone says it's a bad trade because of the prospect.
It'll be a good trade if Cano performs. If the relief pitcher and Cano both don't perform, well, forget it. But we're going to assume the relief pitcher is going to perform. If Cano performs, even for 3 years out of the 6, I think it's a good trade. Out of the 5, 3 years out of the 5, I think it's a good trade. James in Connecticut, what's up?
Hey, Mike, with the playoff, I think Georgia's a better team than Oklahoma. I mean, it's one of the four best teams. Georgia's better.
That's not the point. You're not. Yeah, but there's the real world. But how do you prove that? It's an opinion, and they lost twice. How are you going to take two? How are you going to take two teams from one league and the teams lost twice?
I agree. Well, I mean, it was definitely an argument, but
you weren't taking. Everyone knew you weren't taking Georgia if they lost. That's why what Georgia did made no sense.
They gave the game away.
I mean, listen, I understand Alabama's great, and I said all year that the only team I thought that could beat Alabama was Georgia. I thought they had the talent that could beat them. Plus, I knew that they knew how to play them. But I don't understand what Kirby Smart was thinking for 1 second. What are you thinking? You're going to fake a punt on 4th and 11 against their regular defense. They didn't budge. All right, you snuck the freshman guy into the game as an up back, but the bottom line is you got punt people on the field. It's 4th and 11. You have the better kicker, and for overtime or final seconds, you have the better kicker, and they're in the backup quarterback. And you go for a fake punt, man. Basically, he was saying to your defense, I don't think you can stop them even without Tua in the game. Joe in Jersey, what's up, Joey?
Yeah, Kirby Smart did the same thing in the LSU game. When he did that fake punk, it was like 4th and 8. The game went right down the drain for Georgia. He repeats it again. Alabama knew he was going to do that. They were standing there waiting for it.
They had their regular people on the field. Why wouldn't they?
Mike, you're 100% correct about Aaron Rodgers. You sit Aaron Rodgers back. You think I sit him down for 4 weeks. If you think about what Dallas got for Herschel Walker way back when, they're going to get a lot.
I don't know that they'll listen. It's very hard to trade someone as good as Aaron Rodgers. Very hard, but you would build a good team, and you might want to start over. But I wouldn't play him the rest of the season. They're out of it. The Packer fans will be fine with it. You'll get a better draft pick. And let him get healthy. He's been playing hurt all year. Joe in Hillsborough. What's up, Joe?
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for coming back to the radio.
Thank you. What's up?
Go back a long time, glad to 54. As a matter of fact, I wanted to say something to you. I think back to the time with Bill. If you think back to the Jet franchise, had Bill Parcells not taken over this franchise, where would we even be today? Any credibility that we have was constituted because of him. You were back in the day involved in that because I used to call you because my godson was going.
Well, it's only he was only there. Unfortunately, he was only there 3 years. It's too bad he left. First of all, he should never have left the Pats. If he didn't leave the Pats, he would have had an incredible run because he had built a great team with New England. Number two, now I don't know that he would have gotten Brady though, but I still think he would have had a great team. He already had them in the Super Bowl. Number two, the 3 years there, hey, the crushing thing is Vinny getting hurt. They felt they were the best team in the sport starting that season, and Vinny didn't get out of the first game. He didn't get out of the, what was it, if I remember right, second quarter? I can't remember if it was second quarter or third quarter now. It's, so long ago. I can't remember if it was second quarter or third quarter. But when Vinny went down, Curtis fumbled, if I remember right, and Vinny went for the ball, and that's when he snapped his Achilles. Second quarter? Was it second quarter? And Curtis never fumbled, but he fumbled that ball, and Vinny went for the ball and snapped his Achilles. Tommy in Staten Island. What's up, Tommy?
Mike, I got to ask you a question. This Cano thing with the Mets, I mean, to me, this is crazy. I mean, why would you want a guy, even though I give this guy maybe $100 million, who was busted on PEDs, who was suspended for using PEDs? I mean, I see another A-Rod situation going on over here, and I see another Melky Cabrera.
Well, listen, you should hope he's another A-Rod. A-Rod won 2 MVPs for the Yankees, so, I mean, if he can do what A-Rod did for the Yankees, you'll be in good shape. I mean, A-Rod, A-Rod had a lot of great years for the Yankees. EJ in Allentown, what's up?
Mike, this college playoff is a joke with the 4 teams and not having the 4 best teams in there. I agree with a couple of callers before.
Well, how are you going to prove the 4th best team? Prove to me that Georgia's the 4th best team.
Well, it's very simple. First of all, what they need to do is change the system and just go.
They're not changing the system. It's not very simple. It might be very simple for you, but it's not very simple because they will never screw They will never screw the bowls, AJ.
Well,
never.
They won't. And here's a way.
Go ahead, let me hear. Let me hear.
Obviously, you take the 5 conference winners from the top 5 power conferences, and you take 3 at large.
And how do you play over? Play over 3 weeks?
No.
Wait, what do you mean? No. How do you play with 8 teams?
I'm going to explain it to you.
Yeah.
2 weeks from this past weekend is basically an open weekend. The week of the 14th, 15th. You play one game Friday night.
They will not play. They will not play before Christmas. They will not play exams. They will not play before Christmas.
Please, exams. Come on.
They will not play. EJ, learn something about the sport before you talk about it. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what the obstacles are. They will never play pre-Christmas. Never. They will not do it. Okay? I can tell you right now, they will not do it. You can say that they don't care about exams. They are going to act like they care about exams. They are not going to play that pre-Christmas. If they're playing a pre-Christmas, you're moving bowls now that you said you were going to protect that have been New Year's bowls forever. You're moving them now into the middle of December. So you're protecting them really well. You can't come up with a system that protects the bowls. That's why they will never do it. Because the bowls have been good to them for 100 years. They will not screw the bowl system, and the Rose Bowl will not buy anything that you try to feed them. Nothing. They have an event that is part of Americana that gets an enormous rating every year. So they're either part of the championship or they're going to have a big event on New Year's Day at 5 o'clock. They're not playing at any other time. They're the Rose Bowl. They are part of America. So you think you got a system, you got nothing. There's no system. And there's no way to get the 4 best teams in college football foolproof. There's no way. Can you prove to me that Georgia's better than Oklahoma or Ohio State? Of course you can't. How would you do that? How would you prove it? It's based on analysis. It's based on weighing certain factors, but they're apples and oranges. So it's just an opinion. And you come to a conclusion. I can tell you right now, Ohio State, in my mind, has a better chance of going in there and playing well than Oklahoma does. But I have no problem with Oklahoma being there. Because Ohio State, stumbled around enough that you can make the case for Oklahoma, and Oklahoma did avenge its one loss. So I'm okay with Oklahoma being there. I don't think Ohio State got screwed. And you cannot tell me that the way you think this is going to work is you're going to get two teams from the same conference when one of them has two losses. You would have got two teams from the same conference. If Alabama had lost, you would have got two teams from the same conference. Georgia would have been one, and Alabama would have been in there. I don't know if they would have been four or not. They might have not have been four. They might have made them three. They would have liked to make them three anyway, so they wouldn't have to play Georgia. So they probably would have made Notre Dame four and made Clemson and Alabama 2 and 3 just so they kept them away from each other. They could have easily done that. The only way you were getting two teams in the same conference is if Georgia won, not if Georgia lost. You could not do it with a loss. And coming up with a system with any number plus above 4 will absolutely disrupt the bowl games, and they will not do it. And they will not play pre-Christmas. Bill in Morristown, what's up, Bill?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's happening?
I called Friday about Cano, and my two biggest issues were A, that he's lefty, and B, that he's a Yankee and not a Met. But I'm past that now. My question now is on Syndergaard. Before the Cano thing, all the rumors were that they were going to try and use him for prospects. Now that makes no sense. Now you need a right-handed bat. So here's my question to you. If they could go Syndergaard and McNeil for either Chris Bryant or Arenado, which one do you want?
Arenado. Hands down.
Think that if you give him McNeil to replace him at third base and Syndergaard, do you think there's a chance that could happen?
I don't know that they would trade Arenado. I don't know that. I can't tell you that I know they would trade Arenado. I think you get Bryant. I think you could get Bryant without even probably putting McNeil in the deal. I don't think they need McNeil. Now, what are you going to do with McNeil? That's the question. But I think you can get. I think you can get a bat for Syndergaard. I do think you can do that. Yes. Mike and Dix Hills, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike, you're 100% right on the 4. I mean, Oklahoma, I think, is totally deserving of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, even Oklahoma, Ohio State, I could have taken either one, but I have no problem with Oklahoma.
You know, the Purdue loss on national TV was tough.
Listen, they played badly against Maryland. They played badly against Nebraska, and they avenged their one loss. So I have no problem with Oklahoma.
Yep, they beat Texas. And you know something? I'll tell you, I had a great weekend. I went to the Pac-12 championship game, which there was like 30,000 people there. It was horrible.
Right.
And then I went to the Raider game, and I saw Mahomes. That kid, his arm is incredible.
Incredible arm, yeah.
He has
a great
such a strong gun.
He has a Brett Favre-like throwing arm. Brett Favre had an arm like that. Mahomes might be a little more accurate, and maybe not, because Mahomes is not the most accurate guy in the world either. But he has got an incredibly powerful arm.
Oh, really exciting.
He can throw it. He can throw it. He can throw it really, really hard, and he can throw it really far. He can absolutely do both. Let me squeeze this one more in here quick. Mike in New Jersey. What's up, Mike?
Mike, do you think any possibility Urban Meyer being suspended earlier in the season kind of affected what could have been controversy between them and Oklahoma getting into the playoffs?
No, I think what happened is I think that Oklahoma avenged their one loss. I think the Purdue loss really bothered the committee. I think the Maryland game, where Maryland dropped and they didn't drop, but the quarterback missed a wide-open player in the end zone for a 2-point conversion that would have beaten Ohio State and scored 51 points against them.
What about Ohio State if they would have took care of business against Northwestern? I mean, just slaughtered them.
I don't think it, I think once Ohio, I don't think it would have mattered. I think Urban knew it. I think Urban knew once Oklahoma had beaten Texas and avenged their one loss, I think he knew he was dead. I think he knew he wasn't getting in. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't think he could have done enough to get it away from him. I don't think he could have. I just think that they had decided Oklahoma was the team, and that was it. They were won by 9 points. Was it 9 points? I think it was 9. They won by 9. I think it was 9. It was 9 or 10. They beat Texas by. So the bottom line is they avenged their one loss. They did enough. So, hey, to me, they're both 12. Oh, it's 12, okay. They're both, let's be honest, Alabama's a 14-point favorite over Oklahoma. They would have been a 12-point favorite over Ohio State, probably. They're a 14-point favorite over Oklahoma. And that's legitimate. They deserve to be. Remember, Georgia played great. Their quarterback played great. But to be fair, and I'm only bringing this up because of the fact that it's the truth, Tua was hurt the entire game. He got hurt early in the game, and he could not move. He could not get outside containment. He could not plant his foot and throw. He was not the same player. That impacted the game a lot. So Georgia didn't see the real Alabama. You'll see the real Alabama when in the playoffs when he's healthy. But what a performance! What a performance by the backup quarterback. I mean, to sit there all year after having the job taken from you at halftime, come back and do what he did, that's just it's an amazing story. There's no way you couldn't write that story. And put up 2 touchdowns. But if you notice, what he did was what Tua couldn't do. Tua couldn't get outside Georgia containment that day because his ankle was bad from the first quarter on. He could not get outside containment, and he got outside containment to run and pass. He made every big pass outside containment. He made every run outside containment, and that was the difference. Update time.